This is the Brave New Coin Crypto Conversation, hosted by Andy Pickering.
Hi everyone, Andy Pickering here. I'm your host and welcome to the Crypto Conversation, a Brave New Coin podcast where we talk to the people building the future in the Bitcoin, blockchain and cryptocurrency space. My guests today are Aditya, who is a market analyst and researcher right here at Brave New Coin, and Mr. Ryan Greaves, who is the product manager for market data and indices, also here at Brave New Coin. Now, Aditya and Ryan are on the show because BNC has launched a very exciting new derivatives data product. So we're going to learn a little bit about that today as we get into the show. But welcome along, Aditya and Ryan.
Thanks for having us, Andy.
Thanks, Andy.
So I think just really quickly, we'll do what I always do at the beginning of the show. Love for you both just to very quickly introduce yourself. Let's do you, Aditya. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, I think it's my third or fourth time being on. So yeah, I guess you're not tired of having me on and just hearing me ramble on about random crypto stuff. So I'm a market analyst and researcher at Brave New Coin. I kind of keep my ear pretty close to the ground in terms of what's going on with price activity and product trends in crypto. So at Brave New Coin, I sort of lead research and try to find interesting narratives that might be interesting to our audience and our clients. And on that note, derivatives are a super important part of the crypto market infrastructure. And both in terms of like a research narrative, in terms of insights that we can draw from derivatives analytics, as well as, being useful for making trading decisions and just having that sort of derivatives dashboard in front of you to know where to put your money into.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Aditya. And also welcome to the show, Ryan. You're a product manager.
Yep, have been for a few years at Brave New Coin. I'm working with the development team to help bring new data products to market and also manage our indices from a design methodology and also maintenance perspective, including the rebalancing of composite indices and other like governance tasks.
Awesome. Well, great to have you both here. So as I said, very quickly, Ryan and Aditya are here to talk about the new BNC derivatives data product, which is, well, I suppose designed for crypto derivatives traders. And I think it was developed really in response to the growth in crypto derivatives trading. So the product provides comprehensive real-time data on the crypto derivatives market. So we'll talk a little bit more about that today. I thought, guys, it would probably be good just to start off with perhaps a super quick macro market update. Maybe this is one for you, Aditya. Give us the short and sweet macro update.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Andy. It's been a very flat market in the short term, the last 5 to 7 days. Everybody's kind of talking about this disappearance of volume, which is to do with sort of a trendless market, but internally it's been because of the collapse of FTX. So super flat and trendless. It's hard to know which direction we're going to go in. Another factor in this has been sort of mixed signals from the Fed. Jerome Powell came out on Tuesday and made prepared statements to the Senate saying that inflation is too hot and we're getting all this hot economic data, so interest rate rises are coming. But today he made other statements saying that he needs to wait on more economic data like the payrolls for February before determining whether there is going to be an interest rate rise. So it seems like on a macro level, a lot of these risk assets have been trading quite statically. So that's reflected in the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Sort of in the background to this is, the market is a little bit uncertain about whether some strong fundamentals have been priced in. Bitcoin at a network level has been, as active as it has been in the last year, primarily because of the ordinals NFT boom. And ETH is also like, there's a sense of bullishness around it because of the Shanghai hard fork, which is expected to create like a surge in staking because you'll be able to unstake ETH. So in terms of the risk associated with staking ETH, that's set to drop. So we'll see whether those like strong fundamentals will reflect in the price.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And yeah, I think that Shanghai upgrade or hard fork, whatever you want to call it, I think that's been pushed back to April. But yeah, lots of chatter around the market impact on the price of ETH, of course, as all that staked ETH becomes available. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that in the month ahead. I suppose we should touch on just kind of general market trends in the derivatives market. Crypto derivatives, an increasingly bigger part of the market, and of course that's why Brave New Coin has made this new derivatives data product. So I guess same thing. Start with you again, Aditya, and Ryan. If you've got thoughts, please do feel free to jump in. What are we seeing derivatives wise at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, over the last 2 to 3 years, there's this saying that 3 months in crypto is like a year in other financial markets, and that's definitely evidenced by the growth and maturity of the infrastructure and products in the derivative space. When I joined the crypto industry in 2018, all there really was in terms of derivatives were perpetual swaps on BitMEX, and that was dominated by speculators. It was very sort of similar to the spot market and not that complex. But now we have really complex options products and options exchanges. The CME has a number of different Bitcoin and Ethereum products. Exchanges like Deribit have created products for an international audience and a European audience as well. So in terms of infrastructure and the number of options available, we've gone from simply kind of being dominated by perpetual swaps 4 or 5 years ago to having a range of different derivative product options. Options not in terms of the product, but in terms of choices. And we're also seeing that lead to kind of more complex trading strategies. We're seeing delta neutral strategies for trendless markets using options. In the DeFi space, we're also seeing kind of interesting packaging of futures and options products, and it's exotic products are entering the market too. So just a lot of growth and complexity over the last 2 to 3 years.
And what about open interest volume numbers across exchanges? What are we seeing, Ryan?
For the most part, it's been pretty, it's flattened off over the last couple of months. We did see a spike through January in both futures and options open interest. I think there was one of the biggest trading days in CME Bitcoin futures history in January. In terms of exchanges, it's still largely options are dominated by Deribit, and futures is a bit more split between Binance, CME, and Bybit having the most open interest.
Yeah, just to add to that, like this is more sort of a general trend, perhaps just kind of what people are talking about and whispers in the market is sort of a shift towards non-custodial options. And we've seen exchanges like GMX, which is a non-custodial blockchain-based exchange that is on Arbitrum and Avalanche, having a lot more popularity in the last 2 to 3 months. And a big factor in that was the collapse of FTX and risks associated with leaving your assets on exchanges. So that has affected the general open interest in volume as well.
All right, got it. So team, let's talk a little bit about Brave New Coin derivatives data product then. So as I understand it, it's a new data product, obviously designed for crypto derivatives traders and market participants, observers, commentators, and it was developed by you guys and the team at Brave New Coin in response to the growth in crypto derivatives trading. The product provides comprehensive real-time data on the crypto derivatives market. So you can track like the next expiring Bitcoin futures. You can compare funding rates between perpetual swaps or explore open interest across option strikes. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about the product. Who wants to start? Maybe give a little bit of context as to how this product sits in the Brave New Coin data suite.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. So inside BNC's market data offerings, obviously one of the biggest products in that is aggregated pricing. So price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and almost 3,000 other assets, as well as 13,000 trading pairs. So prices for those at an intraday or end of day granularity, as well as volume, market cap, and free float supply. But the data that kind of inputs to those services and indices is our exchange feed, which is basically a single endpoint to access standardized ticker data that you would normally receive from different exchanges. So that includes both spot and decentralized exchanges. And this new derivatives product is really just an extension of that in our effort to increase coverage. So you can access kind of standardized derivatives data from a range of different exchanges with just a single endpoint. But unlike this spot data, we've got a number of new fields: open interest, funding rate, expiration, strike price, for example. And yeah, it's just add to our market data offerings and increase our coverage.
Thank you, Ryan. So tell us a little bit more about the derivatives data product then. What kind of coverage can we see? The fields, delivery, what's the frequency? Yeah.
At the moment, we've just launched the product, and the exchanges we cover are Binance, Deribit, OKX, Bybit, Kraken, BitMEX, and LedgerX, formerly FTX US derivatives. It's available as an API with a WebSocket connection coming soon. We have kind of split the data into two endpoints. We've got a contract endpoint, which contains more static reference data for each contract, such as the underlying market, expiration date, whether it's a put or call, basically information that defines or identifies a contract, data that largely doesn't change after listing. And then the second endpoint is our ticker data. So that's updated every 30 seconds, price, volume, open interest, funding rate, and a few more. These are the fields that users will be tracking on an ongoing basis. Yeah, these also include historical data. So if you want to chart out the price or the open interest over a certain contract, you can do that. And also the ability to filter by derivative type, exchange, asset, or even contract if you're only interested in a few different contracts.
Very good. Thank you, Ryan. And listeners, if you do want to learn a little bit more about the crypto derivatives data and potentially access that API. So I'll put a link in the show notes, but it's on the Brave New Coin website under derivatives data under enterprise solutions. But yeah, as I say, link is in the show notes. Brian, you talked about the different exchanges that the data comes from. So I think it's like Binance, Deribit, OKX, Bybit, Kraken, BitMEX, and LedgerX. These are all current, or some are historical as well?
These are all current. We also did have FTX, but we're not receiving much data from them recently. Yeah, we definitely plan to add a lot more exchanges going forward, particularly from the decentralized space. As Aditya said, there's a lot of new and exciting derivative products which are operating as decentralized exchanges. One thing that I think this product provides value in is like the standardization of data. A lot of times if you want to be tracking a range of different contracts or derivatives over a number of exchanges, users are going to run into problems that exchanges don't really have standard APIs, field names, update frequencies. So there is a lot of research and development involved in making sure this data is standardized, particularly things like contract value and contract size, where even those aren't like a universally accepted standard. Some exchanges will quote it one way and others another. And so I think that's one of the main values of this product is we do a lot of the work in standardizing the data for you.
Yeah, so that means you just get like a clear understanding of what is happening in the market from a single source rather than having to rely on one single exchange where there's the possibility, even if it's small, of something going wrong or manipulation or an exchange outage or something like that, right?
Yeah, we handle a lot of the boring and sometimes hard parts in setting up a trading strategy or a dashboard, particularly data hygiene and like purging old contracts and making sure that each exchange is presenting the same data.
Thank you, Ryan. I think it'd be useful also if we could perhaps talk about use cases. Love to just get some thoughts on how you see this data being used by traders and market participants. What are the use cases, if you like?
Yeah, I think the use cases for this data is much the same as our current data offerings. Backtesting trading strategies is a common one due to our like extensive historical data. Tracking futures expirations or looking for arbitrage opportunities are some examples. I think it's also used a lot for researchers or analysts, particularly on dashboards and charts.
Speaking of researchers and analysts, we have one on the show at the moment, Aditya. I believe you're a researcher and analyst, and you've used the data to publish at least 2 different pieces on BNC.
Yeah. I mean, just to add on what Ryan said, data is power, and you get what you pay for. So for me as a researcher at Brave New Coin, having access to this, really high quality proprietary data that is able to do so much, in the articles I've written, I've just sort of scratched the surface of what you can do and with the data and how you can use it for edge or analysis. So yeah, I can just talk briefly about the way I've used the data, both for my research and occasionally, just to kind of get some insights on the market for personal use as well. The first article I wrote for the website was about options and primarily looking at out of the money options. And in the current climate or the climate, over the last year, there's been quite a lot of out of the money puts being put into the market. And out of the money put essentially is making a bet during sort of a period of bullish momentum, suggesting or betting that the price will fall in the future. So an example right now would be a put in April, which bets that the price of Bitcoin will fall to 15K. And what we were seeing at the start of the year was quite a lot of out of the money puts betting that the price of Bitcoin would fall to levels of about 16 to 15K. This is interesting because options market participants tend to be smarter money because it's quite a complex financial product. So it's trading houses, it's institutions, it's experienced traders. And what they were suggesting at the start of the year is to not trust the bullish momentum that we were seeing in the markets. And instead, we're kind of betting on a reversal, which is sort of the opposite of what you were seeing in the retail market. And that's a signal. You can use it to make a trading decision or not, but what you can do with the data is sort of, identify signals. So that's what I did. That's what I did with options data.
And what about the futures term structure?
So futures term structure is an interesting one. It's called a lot of things. I sort of, just because of the way it's visualized, call it the futures curve. So it essentially reveals what today people are willing to pay for Bitcoin in the future. So what if you had a contract which said, hey, this gives you the right to buy Bitcoin in November, how much would you be willing to pay for it? So yeah, I think it's quite an interesting tool because it gives you a lot of sense of sort of, as well as what's going on with the price, what's going on with the fundamentals and the infrastructure of an asset. What we were seeing with the futures curves of Bitcoin over the last few months is a contango, which means people were willing to pay more for Bitcoin in the future than they were now. There's a few different kind of reasons why this would happen. But sort of what I investigated in the article is that people were willing to pay more for Bitcoin in the future because of a higher cost of carry, which was associated with higher counterparty risk. And the cost of carry started to rise and the contango began to form around the time that FTX collapsed. So what that was suggesting is, the market was just like, this is a period where crypto assets are going through a little bit of chaos. Counterparty risk seems to be rising. So we're willing to pay more for this asset in the future than we are right now.
And do you want to do Perpetual's funding rate?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Perpetual swap is a very interesting financial product that, is pretty exclusive to the crypto market. I think it still is only really a financial product that exists in the crypto market. What makes it quite unique is that, at least to me, what makes it unique is that you need to pay an interest rate in order to keep a position open. So it's got this interesting peer-to-peer model to balance out the market. So if you take the popular trade at the time, which might be shorting or longing, you need to pay an interest rate. And that creates some very interesting market dynamics. So what my article sort of investigated was, how does this, interest rate sort of direct activity in the market? So for example, if the funding rate is high enough, are traders willing to exit the popular trade simply to receive an interest rate? And it's just, a very interesting sort of financial product and an interesting piece of infrastructure, which can affect other parts of the market, like the spot market, and just the price of the asset overall.
Got it. Thank you, Aditya. And I'll put links to those different articles that Aditya has written in the show notes as well. They're on the front page of the website, but I think you probably have to scroll down to find them now. So easier just to put links in the show notes. I guess just to finish off, guys, let's maybe just talk a little bit about what is on the product roadmap. And just before we do that, I guess also, it'd be good to also understand what kind of analytics or visualizations are available with the data.
So at the moment, our futures and Perpetual's data is available on bravenewcoin.com. It's good for highlighting the top contracts by open interest and volume. Users can also filter by exchange and compare the contract sizes across exchanges, perhaps see any funding rate arbitrage opportunities. You can also sort by expiration date if you're interested in what's the next expiring futures. Our options data is not yet on the website. We're just deciding the best way to visualize that, as well as some time series charts and exchange comparisons to go on there as well.
Got it. Thank you, Ryan. And I said we'd talk about product features and the roadmap. What are you guys working on? What is coming down the pipe in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to release features for this product on an ongoing basis based on what the market's demanding and what we're hearing from client feedback. We definitely want to add derivatives to our current order book and trade collection service. This will mean that all the contracts you see in our ticker data will be available with level 2 data So granular order book updates and transaction history. And this will also enable us to derive our liquidity statistics for not just spot, but derivatives as well. Liquidations is another data set that gets a lot of interest, particularly for tracking liquidation zones and predicting squeezes. So we're looking at adding that. We do have a couple of extra fields to add to our reference data, such as settlement period, just so you can identify whether the contract is a daily, a monthly, quarterly future. We also have seen a lot of interest in volatility and risk metrics. And we do have an internal implied volatility model that we hope to release as an index product very soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. And again, listeners, if you want to learn more about the product, again, it's just all on the Brave New Coin website, but easiest way to find it is the link in the podcast show notes. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the show. Let's just finish off with a little bit of fun. We'll invite you both just to, share anything you're personally working on or excited by coming up this year, or what are you keeping an eye on? I know that you talked before about the Shanghai Ethereum upgrade. Aditya, let's start with you. What are you seeing going forward this year? What's on your radar?
In terms of big picture, I think every trader or investor is sort of exploring whether we're going to have a recession. So that's not a bit of fun, but I think in terms of crypto is macro and is directed so much by what the Fed does. So I am really keeping my eyes peeled for economic data and trends in economic data, like, how hot is payrolls data in the US, that sort of thing. What is the Fed doing? So that's the very big picture side of things. But in terms of like the crypto specific stuff, definitely layer twos. So is Arbitrum going to launch a native token? What are the forks of Arbitrum and Optimism going to look like? What is Coinbase's new layer 2 going to be doing? I really do think layer 2s are going to probably be the most like vital and important piece of crypto infrastructure in the coming year.
I like it. Thank you, Aditya. All right, Ryan, let's finish with you. What is on your radar as we go deeper into 2023, Ryan?
Well, I guess more recently, this Grayscale appeals court hearing in regards to their conversion of GBTC to an ETF involving the SEC has been pretty interesting. I don't think we're going to hear a verdict for another 3 or 4 months, but it'll be interesting to see what the courts and the SEC decide to do with that. A spot ETF has been talked about for a few years now, and it seems we might finally get a decision.
Yeah, well, a decision would be great. I don't know if I'm holding my breath. I think it's ironic how, the hold up or the non-approval of any kind of spot Bitcoin ETF, based on, I don't know, consumer protection, I guess, in the end just resulted in a whole lot of consumers getting absolutely wiped out last year because they had to go offshore to places like FTX. And of course, or
have their money locked up in Grayscale without being able to redeem it.
Yeah. Anyway, well, let's hope for some resolution one way or the other. Look, thank you to you both. Thank you for coming on the show. Be interested to see this data product roll out. Just good to see another addition to the Brave New Coin market data suite. Thank you, gentlemen. All the best and bye for now.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Andy.
All right, there you go. That was Aditya and Ryan Greaves right here from Brave New Coin, Tikumi Towers, talking about the new BNC derivatives data product. As I've said in the show, if you want to know more, just look in the show notes for the link to learn All about it. All right. Well, thank you, team. Thank you for listening. If indeed you are still listening right here at the end of the show, please do remember to subscribe to the Crypto Conversation in whatever podcast app you are using so you know when each new episode drops. But that is today's show. Thanks for listening, team. This was the Crypto Conversation for Brave New Coin.